All right, ready to dive into something pretty cool. Today, we're looking at ChatGPT.
Sounds fun.
I know you hear it everywhere these days.
Yeah, it's all over the news.
But we're going to go deeper. We're taking a sneak peek into Curso Básico de ChatGPT.
Oh, the beginner's course.
Exactly. It's like a crash course for anyone who's totally new to this whole ChatGPT thing.
Perfect for those who feel like they're missing out.
A little bit of FOMO, right?
Eh.
And I've got an expert with me, of course, to help break it all down, make it easy to understand. No tech jargon allowed.
I'll do my best. It's funny, isn't it, how AI can seem so futuristic and yet so, well, normal at the same time.
Right. Like we see it in movies, but now it's like part of our lives.
Exactly.
And this course is all about showing you how to actually use it.
That's the key.
But before we jump into the course itself, let's back up a bit.
Okay.
What is ChatGPT? I feel like everyone's throwing that term around.
Right.
But what's going on behind the scenes?
So imagine, it's like ChatGPT is this super student who's read every book, every article, even like all the comments online.
Whoa, that's a lot of reading.
And that's how it learns, basically, by analyzing tons of text.
So it's reading to understand how we use language.
Exactly. Technically, it's called a language model.
Fancy.
But basically, it's a program that can understand and use language, like we do, but instead of just random words, it's learned the patterns, the nuances.
So it can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, and it can even write different things, answer your questions in a way that makes sense.
Okay, that makes way more sense than just saying it reads millions of books.
Right.
But if it's learned from all this text, does that mean it knows everything? Can I just ask it anything?
Well, it's not quite that simple. It has a huge knowledge base, sure.
Yeah.
But it's more like having a really smart friend, you know,
Okay.
who's read a ton but might still make mistakes or misunderstand you.
Ah, so it's not perfect.
Not yet. And that's why this course, this beginner's course, is so important. It teaches you how to actually talk to ChatGPT to get the best responses.
So it's not just about ChatGPT knowing stuff. It's about us knowing how to communicate with it.
Exactly. It's like any conversation, you need to know how to get your point across.
So it's more than just what is ChatGPT. It's also a guide on how to use it like a pro.
You got it. It gives you the skills to ask the right questions, understand what it's good at, what it's not so good at.
So you can use it in a way that's helpful.
And responsible.
Okay, now you got me intrigued. Tell me more about how this course breaks down those skills. What are the modules? What do they actually cover?
Well, it's structured to take you from zero to, well, not hero maybe, but definitely competent, step by step. It starts with the very basic.
Like what we're doing now.
Exactly. What is ChatGPT? How does it work? But then it gets more in depth. It teaches you how to, like we said, interact with it.
Ask the right questions.
Yes. And get the answers you need. It even shows you how to use ChatGPT in your daily life. Make things easier.
So it's not just theory. You actually learn how to use ChatGPT.
That's the whole point.
Give me an example. What kind of everyday use are we talking about?
Well, imagine having this super organized assistant
Okay.
who can plan your week, make to-do lists, even remind you about deadlines.
Wow, that would be amazing. I'm already feeling less stressed.
Right. Or picture this. You're stuck on a project. You need ideas.
Happens all the time.
ChatGPT can help you brainstorm, write a blog post, even figure out a clever reply to that email you've been putting off.
Wait, ChatGPT can help me be funnier in emails.
Yeah.
Sign me up. But seriously, that's impressive. I was thinking ChatGPT was mostly for like facts and research.
There's definitely a creative side to it too, and this course helps you explore that.
So you can use it to write stories. Or poems even.
You can. It teaches you how to use these things called prompts. Basically, instructions for ChatGPT to create different types of content.
Wow, now I'm seeing the possibilities here. But this brings up a question.
Right.
If ChatGPT can do all this, where do we fit in? Does it replace us or?
That's a big question, and it's something the course definitely addresses. But for now, let's just say ChatGPT is a tool.
A powerful tool.
Very powerful. But it's up to us to use it responsibly and to see it as a way to enhance our own skills, not replace them.
I like that. Enhance, not replace. It's like we're getting a superpower, but we're still in control.
Exactly.
So we've got the basics, we've got how to use it. What else does this course cover? Because it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
Oh, there's more. As you go through the course, you unlock more advanced stuff, like how to connect ChatGPT with other apps you already use, make everything work together seamlessly.
So it becomes part of my routine, not just another thing to learn.
Right. And you delve deeper into those prompts, how to craft really specific instructions to get exactly what you need.
Okay, color me impressed. This is shaping up to be a pretty comprehensive crash course. But I'm curious about the learning itself. Is it just
Yeah.
reading or...
The course creators get that learning should be fun and hands-on, so you'll get to participate in discussions, do exercises that apply what you learn.
So it's learning by doing.
Exactly. And there's even a final project to test your skills.
That's how you make sure it sticks. Speaking of which, what about after the course? What happens then?
That's a good question, and something we'll explore more deeply later.
Okay, good to know.
But let's just say this course seems to understand that learning doesn't end when the course ends.
I like that.
It gives you a foundation, and we'll talk about how to keep learning and using ChatGPT even after you've got your certificate.
Ooh, a certificate. I love a
Yeah.
good reward for learning new things, like a badge of honor.
It's a nice touch, but the real reward is the knowledge and skills you gain, the ability to use this incredible technology to your advantage.
All right, I'm ready to dive into those modules. What are the key takeaways, the aha moments that made you go, wow, I didn't know ChatGPT could do that?
Let's start with Module 1, which is all about laying the foundation, demystifying AI. It's fascinating to see how we got to this point.
Hold that thought. Let's give our listeners a moment to absorb all this awesomeness. We'll be back in a flash to unpack each module and reveal even more about this ChatGPT course.
We're back, ready to dig into those modules. Remember where we left off?
Yeah, you were about to tell us about Module 1, the history of AI, right?
Right. But the really important takeaway from Module 1 is that even though the tech behind ChatGPT is super complex, the way we actually use it is pretty simple.
So less about being a tech expert, more about just knowing how to communicate.
Exactly. This course, it really emphasizes that, like, talking to ChatGPT the right way is key. It's almost like learning a whole new language,
The language to talk to AI. Cool.
but one that unlocks so much potential.
I like it. So Module 1 sets the stage. What about Module 2, interacting with ChatGPT? What happens there?
Well, that's where you start getting your hands dirty. You know those prompts we mentioned?
Yeah, like instructions.
Oh, exactly. Module 2 is all about how to write really effective prompts.
So like writing a good email, you got to be clear and concise, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't just ramble on and expect ChatGPT to understand what you want.
Makes sense. So this is where we learn how to tell ChatGPT what we need in a way that it gets.
You got it. It breaks down the different kinds of prompts, the responses you can expect, and it shows you how to structure your request to get the most accurate information.
So you learn to refine your questions, almost like you're interviewing someone.
That's a great analogy, except the interviewee is this super smart AI.
All right, we've got the foundation. We know how to talk to it. What's next?
Now things get really interesting. Module 3, practical uses of ChatGPT. It bridges the gap between the theory and actually using ChatGPT every day.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Less talk, more action. Give me some examples. How can ChatGPT help me get things done?
So let's say you're working on a presentation. You're stuck on how to start. ChatGPT can help you brainstorm different openings, even give you data to back up your points.
That's really helpful. So it's not just writing. It's like a thought partner.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond work, too. Imagine you're planning a trip, overwhelmed with details.
Oh, tell me about it.
ChatGPT can make you an itinerary, find good deals on flights and hotels, even suggest places to visit based on what you like.
Wow, it's like a personal travel agent. But what about for creative stuff? You mentioned stories, poems. How does the course handle that?
So Module 3 also gets into those creative applications. You learn how to use ChatGPT as a writing partner almost. It can help you come up with ideas, try different writing styles, even get over writer's block.
I never thought of AI as something that could boost creativity.
That's what's so cool about ChatGPT. It can be analytical and creative. It depends how you use it. And this course encourages you to play around with both sides.
I'm ready to play. But before we get too excited, what about Module 4? We've learned the basics, the practical stuff. What else is there?
Right. Well, as great as ChatGPT is, you have to use it wisely, right? And that's where Module 4, Advanced Tools and Customization, comes in.
Advanced tools sounds pretty serious. What kind of secrets are we unlocking here?
This module is about taking things to the next level. You learn how to connect ChatGPT to other tools, other platforms.
That it's not just a standalone thing. It can become part of my workflow.
Exactly. Picture connecting it to your email, your calendar, all your work stuff. The possibilities are huge.
Okay, I'm getting a little overwhelmed with all these possibilities, but walk me through it. How does this actually work?
It's all about things called APIs. They're basically like connectors that let different apps talk to each other.
Oh, okay.
So you can be working on a project and just seamlessly use ChatGPT right there without having to open a separate
It
thing.
would be so smooth. But this all sounds pretty techy. Is it still beginner-friendly?
Don't worry, they break it down so it's easy to understand, even if you don't know anything about coding. It's more about knowing what you can do, not the nitty-gritty details.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm all for learning, but sometimes the jargon gets me lost.
Mhm.
So we've got integrations. What other advanced tools are there in Module 4?
Well, it also goes deep into customization, basically tailoring ChatGPT to your specific needs.
Customization. I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Remember those prompts we talked about? Module 4 takes them to a whole new level. It teaches you how to write super specific prompts to get exactly what you want.
So instead of just general questions, I can give ChatGPT detailed instructions.
You got it. It's like you're training ChatGPT to understand your style, your preferences.
Like if I'm a writer, I could train it to write in my voice.
That's one example, but it goes beyond writing. You could customize ChatGPT to help with research, data analysis, even brainstorming sessions. Your imagination's the limit, really.
Wow, my mind is officially blown. This is way more than just a chatbot. It's like a personal AI assistant that can adapt to me.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface of what Module 4 covers. We also delve into.
Hold on. I need a minute to process all this. I think our listeners do too. We'll be back in a flash to finish uncovering the secrets of Curso Básico de ChatGPT and find out what's in store for Modules 5 and 6. Okay, we're back and ready for the grand finale. 2 more modules to unpack.
Right. Let's see how Curso Básico de ChatGPT wraps things up.
So we left off talking about customizing ChatGPT, like training it to basically work with you, not just for you.
It really shows how AI can be a partner in a way, not just a tool that replaces us.
Exactly. It's about what we could do together.
Definitely. And speaking of working together, let's move on to Module 5, putting it all together, a practical project.
Ooh, a project. Sounds intense. What does that involve?
This is where you take everything you've learned and actually apply it.
So like a real test.
Kind of, but instead of memorizing stuff, you're proving that you can use ChatGPT effectively.
So less about knowing the theory, more about showing you can use it to solve problems, get stuff done.
This module is all about making sure you have the skills to use ChatGPT in your everyday life.
Okay, that makes sense. But do you get any help during this project? It sounds pretty tough, especially if you're a beginner.
Don't worry, the course instructors are there to help you along the way. They give you feedback, tips, make sure you're on the right track.
Like a ChatGPT coach.
Exactly, someone to cheer you on. So, you work on the project, you get guidance. What's next?
What about after the course? Where do you go from there?
That's where Module 6, continuing your ChatGPT journey, comes in.
Even though it's the last module, it sounds like it's just the beginning, in a way.
Right. This module is all about setting you up to keep learning, keep exploring ChatGPT on your own.
I like that. What does that look like?
Well, they give you more resources, tell you about online communities you can join, basically help you deepen your knowledge and keep up with all the new stuff that's happening in AI.
Because it's always changing, right?
Always. And that's why it's important to keep learning. Connect with others who are interested in AI.
So it's not just about finishing the course, it's about joining this whole community.
Exactly. And who knows what you'll discover along the way.
Well, this has been an awesome deep dive.
Yeah.
We went from, like, what even is ChatGPT to seeing how we can use it in our lives.
And maybe even how it can empower us to do things we never thought possible.
Exactly. That's what I love about Curso Básico de ChatGPT. It makes AI seem less scary, more approachable, and yeah, definitely empowering.
If you're interested in learning more, I highly recommend checking out the course. You never know, you might unlock a new superpower you didn't even know you had.
Absolutely. And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We'll be back next week with more fascinating topics to explore. Until then, stay curious, keep learning, and keep diving deep.